What up?
What up? We are DV. They call me Twin,
I'm also twin.
and they call him Twin as well. Today is Wednesday, the 8th or something like that. March 8th. No, my bad. April 8th, 2025. Hey man, shit be moving fast. Sorry. Um, I'm grateful to be here. I'm glad you're here. Um, Appreciate you just for even thinking about us.
So, have you ever just been chilling and you ask yourself this question? You ever wondered, how much have I actually changed? You know, how much have I actually changed in life? Because we go through life, things happen, different scenarios, different circumstances, and you know, sometimes we change, sometimes we don't, or so we think. And that's the question I'm asking you. How much do you think you've actually changed throughout life? Is change important? And if it is, how important is it? You know? I said the question the way I said it because sometimes people think they haven't changed and they've changed dramatically. And then sometimes people think they have changed and they ain't changed much at all. So, answer that question.
Yeah, I think sometimes, not sometimes, but mainly because life moves so fast. At least I'll speak for my own life. Right, life moves kind of fast for me. So I feel like I'm always growing because I'm always, if I'm not at least, just allowing myself to grow, I'm doing things to induce growth. It's what I believe in, that's what I do, and that's what I understand about this life in terms of the journey of it, at least for myself. So I say that to say that I'm always checking to see and making sure that I'm growing. It's like my number one thing in life. I don't do nothing else. I don't want to leave here without saying that I was at least trying to grow or I was on the process of new growth. As a person, spiritually, financially, environmentally, everything. And I say that because everything around you is used or can be used to induce or inspire growth.
As a tool to grow.
As a tool to grow, That's what the thing, your environment isn't just what it is. It's there because that's what you necessarily needed. It's what was more suited to you for you to grow. Believe it or not, I don't believe in things just happening for no reason. The environment me and him grew up in, which was always, for the majority, poverty-stricken, was there for a reason. I mean, shit, it was a pattern in our life. The majority of our childhood to adult life, young adult life, it was through poverty. Shit, I didn't start seeing things beyond poverty till I got, past the age of, early 30s, to be honest with you.
For me, it was, yeah, he's right. It was still early 30s. I can remember. The change for me was about 33 years old.
Yeah.
30. Funny enough, the days before that, a girl we met, we told her it was our birthday. We turned 33 years old, and she told me the whole significance behind the number 33. She said, things are going to change for you. Things are going to feel more complete for you. And she was right. At that age, I started seeing more stability in life, which is what I was looking for.
Yeah.
My needs were easily taken care of at that point, which was different for me because before that, just the basic needs were a struggle, So that was cool. But that was a change that was very unseen, but very necessary, and I'm glad it happened. But it was unseen. I didn't think I'd even get to that part. Sadly, I didn't even think I'd get to a part in my life where I'd even have my basic needs met.
Right.
For being honest.
Yeah. So to be able to come from a space where it was a struggle just to have my needs met day to day, where the idea of where am I going to sleep, what am I going to eat tomorrow or today, that type of shit, for that being like my normal, to switch from that to just where now my needs are taken care of without effort, it's every day I don't let that pass by without remembering that. I make sure I wake up going, God damn, I'm thankful to have what I'm surrounded with. because it was the exact opposite of that at some point. Not too far from where we at now. You know, it was maybe a year or two ago, and I swear to God, I promise you, man, it was like for a long time it was hard for me to even fathom. Like, damn, this is real. I felt like literally like every day it was like it took a while for me for it to be my new normal. Is what I'm saying. Like I would wake up being like, is this real? Like, I mean, I promise you, man, when I wake up and look in my room, look around and smell the smells and feel the feels and hear the sounds and be like, I'm not on the concrete. I'm in a bed. It's nice space, a beautiful space, you know, beautiful things. I still do. I don't ever want to get used to that. I don't ever want to get used to seeing all this beauty that I'm surrounded with. I don't ever want to get so confident and so fucking, you know, what's the word, jaded by it all that I'm just like, yeah, this is normal. Yeah, it's cool. Because I remember at a time where it wasn't. Where when I was in St. Louis, to be fucking frank with you, when I was living in St. Louis, it was like fucking blah. It was black and white and gray. That was as pretty as it got. And I mean, they had parts. It was beautiful parts. But it wasn't, I'm an ocean dude. I was born by the ocean, you know? That's where I'm more suited. But to go from that to that is a huge step in growth for me. And I never want to forget that. I never want to get so used to that I forget that, you know? That's how I'm able to mark my growth. I'm looking at where I'm at now, how I feel now, how I see things now, how others see me now. Not that I validated with that, but it means something to me because it also plays into the work that I put in for this to be a different picture. So that's how I'm able to mark the growth, you know? How do I feel today as opposed to how I used to feel yesterday, years ago? How do I feel about my surroundings? Do I wake up grateful? Do I wake up excited for the next day? Do I wake up feeling inspired? Yeah, I do now. But before, I had to really dig deep for that inspiration, you know?
Yeah.
I wasn't surrounded with all this beauty. Not this kind of beauty.
I'll say this. One change I know, I mean, there's a lot of changes, but one thing I'm going to speak on, because what you just said kind of reminded me of it, was I remember a period where when we first started our first album, No Explanation, which we were probably about 23 back then, I was just like truly filled and just exploding with all this inspiration and this feeling of purpose, right? And then as the years went on, that feeling eventually kind of dropped off all the way up till now. Right in front of you right now, I can say that I'm back to that feeling again. So in between those years, there really wasn't a lot of that feeling like I was pursuing and doing a purpose, and I was actually fulfilling and pursuing and actually fulfilling that purpose up until just right now. Talking to you right now is doing that for me. I'm doing something with a purpose again, and I'm excited about it every time to do it. Every time, every single day, I'm excited to do it. Sure. I need it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I need it. You know?
Yeah, same here.
I need it like the air I breathe.
Yeah.
No, I really need it. That's the purpose I need, you know? Yeah. I need to be able to connect with people like you who are listening to this, who understand what I'm talking about. And it's been a long time since I've had it, so thank you for even listening to this and being here listening to this, for helping me with that purpose. I need someone to help me fulfill that purpose. And I haven't had it all the way up to that time. The in-between time was just survival stuff. That's all it was for me.
Right.
It was just survival stuff, which I'm grateful because, like I said, even in between that, there were periods of growth on a financial level, a material level. Don't get me wrong, there was, but the deeper part of me wasn't being fulfilled, which is that purpose, right? And that's what I needed, and I'm glad to have it today. Sit in front of you talking about it. I have a purpose today, so I'm super grateful for that. So that's a big change. There's other changes, and we'll get into it, but that's a big change that I've really noticed. I just recently noticed it. I want to say yesterday. I just noticed it yesterday. What's different? What is that feeling that I'm feeling that I hadn't had in a long time? That purposeful feeling. That's what it is.
Straight up.
So, yeah, that's a big change. But what about, like, why is change necessary? Why do you think it's even necessary? Is it necessary?
I think change is not only necessary, It's inevitable.
Right. We said that on the
That's
song,
why
by
it's
the way.
necessary. It's
Yeah.
necessary in order to go with the flow.
Yeah.
I mean, you could try to resist it, but the natural state of natural flow of things, in my opinion, meaning universally speaking by nature, is to change. It's always growing, always changing. Shit.
I think it's by nature. I think it's by design.
By
nature.
design. Everything's changing. It's always moving. It's always growing. You know, it's always flowing. So if we want to be in a balanced state as much as possible, if we want to manifest easier, it behooves you to be in a state of flow, in that same rhythm of the rest of of your environment. You know what I mean? And that means to be constantly changing. You know, just in theory, you know, by thinking about it, like I feel like if you want to be in sync with the universe and you want to work with the universe to manifest more abundance and more health and more financial abundance and just more excitement in your life, you got to be in tune with the rest of the picture, so to speak.
For sure.
You know,
Just like the water around us, just like these birds around us. We're just in the flow, letting, going however it needs to go without any resistance. That's a good, because honestly, change ain't gonna happen without that, yeah. You gotta be, well, change will happen, like you just said, inevitably anyway, even with resistance.
yeah.
But it will happen a lot more pleasurable. It'll happen a lot more pleasurable, and if you just go with the flow as opposed to resisting against the change.
Yeah, you'll have
'Cause it's
more
gonna
fun
happen
in the
either
long run by just going with the flow. Not just going with the flow. I know that sounds so nonchalant, like, whatever happens, happens. But I mean, like, if the universe gives you signs of things like, say, for example, say you just recently lost a job you really liked, and now you don't know what to do. And say now you applied for jobs for 3 weeks straight, and you ain't hear no callbacks. But your wife or your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend told you, hey, maybe you should go back to painting. You're really dope at that. That might be the call. That might be the universe letting you know. That's how you kind of stay in the flow, that maybe you should go back to doing what you're really natural at, what you're really awesome at.
What you enjoy.
What you enjoy the most. So that means listen to that call. Listen, go with the flow. When it speaks, listen. Your intuition is the same thing. When you get a gut feeling about something, even though it may not seem likely, you owe it to yourself to at least entertain it and see where it goes. It may be the next step to your new next level of growth. It could be that simple, that one catalytic change to put you on a new path to the reality you say you want to go into.
It's true. Because even with this, I'll be honest, there was a bit of hesitation at first about doing this because I thought to myself, from an old way of thinking, coming from a standpoint of survival mode, let me say that. I thought to myself, this might be a waste of time though, because I could be using that time and working more, right? Survival mode type thinking though. And knowing that this is what really fulfills me. I feel good doing this because I'm connecting with people who are like me, right? It feels good doing it every single time. And I thought, it might be a waste of time because maybe, I started having ideas of maybe no one's gonna care, no one's gonna listen. That's time wasted. I could be using it to be working more. All those kind of thoughts came up at first. But I'm glad we did it because I've grown even so much since starting it again. This channel's been around for a long time. For those of you who don't know, it's been around for way longer than what you guys probably been listening to us now. But we wasn't really using it to its full advantage. We wasn't using it for its real purpose. Now we're doing it. So I feel good about that, and I'm saying that to say that I'm already seeing small changes. Actually, big changes in a small amount of time is what I meant to say. I'm seeing big changes in a small amount of time, so I know I made the right decision. But yeah. Change is inevitable. It's gonna happen either way, but if you go with the flow, it'll feel a lot better.
So that's one way you can really measure your growth. We talk about how do you know when you've grown? How do you know your reality is changing or going in the direction that you say you want it to go? Look at the changes around you. Literal changes, Look at it could be slight. It don't have to be a drastic change because it likely won't be. Not in a very, Now, if you're blessed enough and you're awesome enough and so magnetic that you're pulling in all these different types of new realities into your current one in a very fast rate, then that's all more power to you. That's dope. You're on a good one. Keep up the momentum, But for people who are like looking for ways to see if things are changing, just for a sign to know that you're in the right direction, look for the subtle changes. And those subtle changes could result in just little synchronicities. If you had a conversation with your mom or your dad or your teacher or your sister or brother or your boyfriend or girlfriend that you wanted to start looking into home ownership, and you're talking about, real estate, and you want to start looking at house shopping, you're tired of renting, you start to think about being a homeowner, and you see a commercial pop up 5 minutes later about real estate and home ownership or whatever, bank loans, something related to the subject is what I'm getting at. You start seeing shit like that, that's a good sign that you're on your way to the direction you say you want to go into. It's just subtle. It's not always as drastic,
Yeah, like even the changes can sometimes not necessarily be visual. They can be changes based on, like, for instance, the old you would have been a person who would have reacted in a situation. For instance, let's just say a conversation he and I would have had 10 minutes ago where he would have said, I don't necessarily like that jacket you got on. The old me would have reacted to that as taking that very personal and maybe even violently reacted to it. Maybe, let's say that's who the old me was. But then in that moment, I calmly just listened to it and took it as simple as that's just his opinion and that's that. And I don't feel no kind of way about it at all, and kept it moving. That reaction right there is a change in you. That reaction right there is a change in you. And what I'm saying is pay attention to small things like that. You don't have to necessarily be physical changes around you. It could just be like, oh, I changed because I no longer react that way. Something like that. Or I no longer think that way. That's a change that should be celebrated.
I think that's why it's good. That's why you place things like YouTube and taking pictures is so important. Because you're capturing you're documenting, you're capturing your own growth in real time.
Exactly.
Because you look back at your own Instagram pictures and you look back in 2005 or 2015 and you see now, it's like you're capturing your growth. Like every day in life, people see their own growth if you stop and pay attention to it enough. I remember when my daughter was little and we took tons of pictures of her. And I remember when she was old enough to see, to look through her mom's phone and learn how to navigate it and see all the little different pictures through her life. It was amazing to me to see, like, damn, look how she's like already able to look back at her life. She's still a baby. She's 4 or 5 years old, but she can go back and say, when I was a baby, before she was able, to walk and talk. She can look back at that now at 5 to see herself on video.
Just that small amount of time.
And I'm like, I wonder what that does for her.
Right.
That she see I'm a growing person. That she see this is how I used to be, and this is where I'm at now. Like, does that matter? Does that even, like, it's not for me to even say.
I think it aids in her growth for sure. I think it aids in her growth.
I would hope so.
I wish we had that around.
That's what I was saying. I was like, but we didn't have that. We didn't have cell phones and film to really look at in that type of way, like in that frequency, to be able to see it that often and be like, damn, this is what I looked like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Nah, not really. We had Polaroids.
Yeah.
And sometimes if the people had a digital camera or whatever. But it wasn't as often as like with the phone,
Wasn't as instant.
Nah, so they don't get you're able to track your growth in a whole nother way now.
Yeah, almost real time. Yeah, for sure.
I think it's awesome. So that's one way you can do it too, because using technology we have. Take pictures often.
Right.
Watch your growth.
And I used to be one of the people that like, not because I wasn't photogenic, but also I just thought it was, I don't know, for whatever reason, I thought it was stupid to take photos and videos so much because I felt like you're not being in the moment. I used to say that. Like, you're so concerned with photos and all that shit. Why don't you just live in the moment? But I also see the benefit now of the documentation through video and photos. I see it now. I think it's dope. I embrace it now.
That's how I track myself, That's how I track myself. That's how I could tell, like, I can look at myself from different perspectives even. through film and the camera phones and shit. Document it, and that's how I know. Like, is that where I still want to go? Because I mean, trust me, man. I remember one time I took a picture with my daughter, and it was after like I got up with her and her mom. I went out to dinner or something like that, and we took a picture. And later, looking back at the picture, I was like, holy shit. And I say this for a reason, because I say it for several reasons. Because for one, I was living real reckless, kind of. I wasn't really taking care of myself really well. I was doing a lot of partying, and I wasn't really, I wasn't in a healthy space, put it that way. And and I looked at the picture and I critiqued it in front of them. I was like, God, I look terrible in this picture. And my daughter's mom, she was like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, you don't know. I ain't really been taking care of myself, you know what I mean? So I'm seeing myself like, and I hadn't even really looked at myself in a minute. That's how bad it was. It was a lot of late nights. It wasn't like I was spending a lot of time in the mirror. It was kind of touch and go type shit. And I looked at that, and that thing what really woke me up is because I saw myself next to my daughter looking that way. And I was like, ugh. I saw it on my face. So I got to see the decline of my fucking self-care, And I was like, God damn, I need to chill. I need to fucking tighten up,
See, had you not documented that, you wouldn't have
I would never seen it.
Yeah.
So I use that as a way to fucking see I'm slipping, motherfucking slipping. So I was like, all right, let's clean up a little bit, just pull back, So yeah, when you see yourself in cameras and you see yourself on film, don't tell yourself, oh, it's just a different angle. No, chances are you're probably unhappy with how you look is because you're not at your best. Just accept that and say you are wrong. Well, you look even hotter now because now you'll work on that, and you'll be up even more.
Yeah.
But don't trust the camera. If you like what you see, that's awesome. Keep it up. But if you don't like what you see, don't beat yourself up by it either. But just take it for what it is. It's visual, whatever. Now you know to say, I don't like that. If you can change it, try to change it. And if you can't change it, learn to love it. But at the end of the day, it's just one way to tell your growth, and not just on the visual. But you can tell by how you're growing, by psychologically, by how you respond to things too. If I've said this before, if I'm still reacting to off things at 40, emotionally, the same way I did when I was fucking 24, chances are I haven't dealt with those things, and I still not ready to confront it because I still deal with it as an attack, as opposed to a reminder or a reflection. That tells me that I haven't grown that much. That tells me that emotionally I'm still 24, essentially. The idea is to grow. The idea is to be able to laugh at the things that used to hurt you. In my opinion, that's where I want to be. So yes, and all these things exist out of love, self-love. If you gained anything from anything we said here today, and if it struck a chord, or if it gave you a light bulb moment, an aha moment, let us know in the comments. Say something. Connect with us. We ain't no different than y'all. We just two niggas out here trying to be better today than we were yesterday.
That's right.
Just trying to grow. But it helps to know you're growing, at least, to be honest with yourself enough. Just pay attention.
Even more, it's even better to be able to grow with somebody, with a community.
For sure.
Which is why we need you to like and subscribe to this channel. Like this video right now. Like this video right now. Subscribe to our channel. Hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel. Because like I said, we're not just growing. We want to grow with you. We want you to grow with us.
Yeah.
And if you have any kind of opinions, good or bad, leave them in the comments. Let us know what you think. What are your thoughts about this? Right? And share it with somebody who might be able to benefit from this, please.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I'm very grateful to be here my damn self. I love you. And I also love myself. Well, I'm able to love you because I love myself. Let that sink in. So love yourself for yourself.
So,
Peace.